Hello everyone, my name is Eric Hackley. Your financial support will enable me to write a Kikianga history book and produce a corresponding video documentary under the title of The Family of Chief Little Turtle. The nucleus of this documentary will be personal interviews with Indiana and Michigan Native American historians, library personnel, college professors, Indian war site curators, and knowledgeable political leaders. As I attempt to stimulate your interest in Fort Wayne history as to how it ties into Indiana and U.S. history, I will explore 3 thought-provoking history questions that have always made me curious. This book and video documentary will contemplate 3 Fort Wayne history paradoxes. 1. Why is there no interest in who Chief Little Turtle is or in the relevance of his war biography? 2. Why are so many people unaware of the Treaty of Greenville and the details it contains that surrendered away the Indians' rights to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and the entire Great Lakes region of America to Major General Mad Anthony Wayne? And 3. How would life be different today for blacks, Indians, and whites if Anthony Wayne would have been defeated by the Indians at the Battle of Fallen Timbers? Plus, I'll share many other insights. Now, listen to 6 minutes of what Fort Wayne leaders said concerning this history initiative, and thank you for your support.
Thank you for coming out this afternoon. My name is Carla Bauman-Franks, and I'm the manager here at the Little Turtle Branch Library. About a month or so ago, Mr. Hackley approached me about his new book, and he asked if we might have an interest in him coming to the library and sharing information about his book and his research. And immediately I said yes. Information sharing is ingrained in the mission of our library. And when it comes to sharing information that is not commonly known or not talked about very often, I got excited, and that is exactly what we want to happen in our libraries. Eric Hackley is a regular contributor to Frost Illustrated here in Fort Wayne, and he's the author of the book Kikianga Blacks, War on History and Slave Mentality. His interest in exposing institutionalized distortion of history, I know, will leave us all enriched and inspired by this afternoon.
But I'm really grateful today to have an opportunity to just come and be a part of what our brother Eric Hackley has called the United Nations of Fort Wayne. We are really, really blessed in this community to now have so many people who have come to inhabit this land, Kikianga. And I hope that, just as when you mentioned that in 1492, Columbus discovered America, well, that's when somebody tells their own story as if the world begins when you're born. How foolish is that?
You really got my attention when you said you're thinking about making it into a documentary, for history, and kids in school could buy your documentary when it was in government class, in political science, social, studies. They'd be able to look and see here are local people, in many cases elected officials, who have a drive and a reason, a motivation, a goal for what they do on a daily basis. That's what I think this is going to be a home run, personally.
The reason that I think this historical question is important and that I appreciate Eric raising it is because it speaks to the very question that we have still today. How are we going to think about one another? How are we going to treat each other? Do we treat each other out of a sense of fear, out of a sense of anger, out of a sense of not knowing and understanding one another, being frightened of our diversity and our differences? Or do we get to know one another as human beings, as people? Do we respect those differences in racial traditions, in cultural traditions, and blend those things together with respect for one another's traditions? Or do we take a step back and fear? And the problem with taking that step back in fear is that we then begin to treat each other differently and mistreat each other differently.
And history is big. I taught world history. I taught U.S. history. Never realized how much I didn't know until I started teaching it. But it's good that we have Eric to remind us that we do have a history in Fort Wayne of Native Americans and Black Americans. I think when I read about the history of Fort Wayne, they said Wayne built that fort in 1974, I believe it was.
1794.
Or 1794, I got that back. 1794.
Inverted the numbers there, Tom.
There you go.
You're the Notre Dame
There you
grad,
go.
not me.
Anyway, LaSalle, the French were the first to come in there before the Battle of St. Clair. Actually, that was the Battle of the Wabash. And the French came in, and blacks were in Fort Wayne 30 years before the fort was ever built. One of Eric's questions is how can you be inclusive about what you're doing today if we were exclusive with the people that built Fort Wayne?
Why haven't we taken the initiative to create a movie about Fort Wayne and why so many people died fighting over this land here? Because that's the one unique distinction that nobody else has but us.
Unknown. I mean, just Wyatt Custer is a more, known legend, and Chief Little Turtle and battle with St. Clair and all those things. I really don't know. But, we would just, it's possible someone could get interested in it. You might get interested. Why don't you do it?